It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. So welcome to Mind Your Business. I am your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you are Jerry-Dee Richardson and Brittany Haley, and you're co-founders of JB's Coastal Creations.
Yes, we are. That is correct.
So welcome to the show, ladies.
Yeah. Thank you. So official to be here. Thanks.
I know you've arrived. No, but before we get started, like about your journey, entrepreneurial journey, I'd like to find a little bit about yourselves. So we can start with you, Jerry-Dee. Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm a mother of 2 and now 3. And I'm a fitness buff, and I currently work at a company, been there 28 years, married. And now we're knee deep in JB's Coastal Creations.
Okay.
Where did that come from?
Right.
And yeah, just enjoying the journey.
Okay. I love it. Brittany.
I am a IT technician support. That's my 9-to-5 day job. Outside of that, it's the crafting. A soca junkie, can't even deny it. Love me a little soca, you know. And yeah, I just take each day as it comes. Love a little travel, and I would say the journey that we're on, I'm just not riding the wave, but see how far we go.
Yeah,
Standing up from here.
Okay. So about what we're seeing here, all of this beautiful work, how did that come to be? Like, you both are doing other things, like full-time jobs and that sort of thing. So what was it that said, okay, let's start making beautiful things?
The pandemic.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay.
Pandemic, but I'll let her kick off because I kind of add in after.
So I was seeing this stuff pop up on my Facebook page, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I would watch video after video after video, and I was like, wow, this is really calming and soothing. And, you know, during the pandemic, we were all locked in. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know. So that was kind of my, just watching the videos alone was kind of my de-stressor. And then after a while, I was like, this looks easy. It looks easy, you know. So I started shopping on Amazon and bringing the stuff, all the items that I saw the other crafters using. I started bringing it in. And it sat in a box for over 6 months. And I was so scared to start. And I was like, maybe it's not as easy as I think it is.
Right.
And then someone told me, just start. Listen, I'm giving you a few days. I want to see something. And then I would see other locals doing the same. That also put me back. And I'm like, oh my God, their stuff looks amazing. Mine's isn't going to look that good.
Right.
I started 3 nights before Christmas Eve in my kitchen. I was like, okay, just start. Just do what you've seen everybody else do. And I did, and the rest is history.
So when you did it, was it like success right away, or were there like
some pieces were and others weren't? And I just went back to the videos. And what's great about this Facebook space is people always put up their problems, their successes, and how to correct them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, that makes sense. And, you know, So my kids came home that evening and was like, what's for dinner? I was like, ain't nothing cooking up in here.
You can eat resin.
So then I had to make a shift after a few times of trying it. I was like, I can't mess up my countertops or my dining room table.
Right.
And my husband gave up the garage, so we're now in the garage.
Okay. So watching the videos and finding it soothing and then wanting to do it for yourself is one thing. But what was the catalyst that made you think that you can turn this into a business? In comes Brittany.
Yeah, she was like, oh my God, your stuff is amazing.
I'm like, why you ain't sold this to nobody? And she was like, no, like, why? Like, this doesn't.
So you was just making it and just
making it, just leaving it in the garage. Like, what? And at that time, we kind of really didn't know each other. So I was joined, one of my friends after the pandemic were like, you know what, let's exercise, de-stress. So she had took me to Jerry's classes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I can handle this. She didn't think, I just have to add this in every time. She didn't think I was going to stay. And I stuck and stayed. So, I feel like just an accomplishment there. But yeah, so she used to, well, not even she used to. I used to stay at work. She was Paget. So I give her a lift home evenings. We would talk and stuff. And we would sit off in the driveway. And then I think one weekend or something during the week or whatever, I had stopped by the house and she was in the garage. I'm like, well, what's this? Like, why this ain't nowhere? And she was like, what are you talking about? There's no way. And it just, one thing turned to another and yeah.
So there was a challenge, obviously. Like, how many can you make
and put it in a box?
Yeah, put it so it's interesting to me because it's a partnership, and those are difficult in themselves. They have their own sorts of challenges, and so it's obvious that there's like-mindedness, right? And so the relationship that you guys formed organically, it seems, right?
Yep.
Through your or shared interests in working out and all of that. And then you listening when Brittany said, hey, we should probably try and sell some of these. Yeah, so I can imagine if you were afraid to start just making them, even though you were making them for yourself, what that must have felt like, oh my God, now I have to try and sell them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's just, she was putting me out there, and some things I feel comfortable being out there doing, and others I don't. So this was one that I was just like, no. So, but I've done bodybuilding, so that's you can't be more out there, right?
I know.
That's why I'm like, she used to dance, even like in her younger years and stuff, she would dance and stuff. Like, you're on the center of the stage.
I love that.
So what you mean you don't want to be out there? Meanwhile, I'm back office. I can push. I'll push. I'll be like, we can get this out there. I'll send the emails off. And then she just interacts. but yeah, it's, and when she said it, I'm really thinking like, have you hurt yourself?
Right.
But that's kind of where the yin and yang of each other in a way, where it's like, nah, I don't want to do this. And the other person's like, yeah, we got to do this.
That's good. It's good to have that balance, right?
Yeah, it definitely
So now
and our birthdays are 4 days apart.
Right.
So.
Yes.
Really?
I'm June 24th to June 28th.
So you're the same side. So it was meant to be, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I have your titles, Jerry-Dee, as resin artist.
I got a title.
On top of mother, on top of everything else. So you recognize that it is art, right? It's allowing for this creative expression and all of that. And then you're creating things that people want to purchase. Now, I have you as an engraver.
Yes.
So is this something that you learned during the course of setting this up as a business, or was that something you already had a skill in?
I did not have that skill. Probably maybe deep down, like the design and technology days in middle school, where I'm like, I'm not touching that machine.
Yeah.
But I guess that's where it kind of sparked from. But with the business, just how she mentioned about with Facebook and Instagram, I'd see stuff and I'm like, people get to laser engrave and they get to cut things out. I'm like, well, I want to do that. Why we can't do that? And then I thought to myself also, and I'm like, I don't think I see people with lasers in Bermuda like that advertised or, recorded or even mentioned besides Blessed. Bermuda laser engraving service.
That's where I was getting all my engraving done. So we would always take our chopping boards there. And she finally said, nah, this has to be
like, maybe
in-house.
we got to try this in-house. We could reduce cost and I got to, experiment and try different things. And
one day she just bought the machine and I was like, you did what?
Yeah. I'm like, it's only way. And she's like,
well, somebody started buying stuff on Amazon. I'm not going to say no names.
Exactly. Cough.
So.
And then now we're in the works and I feel like we've spoken into existence, but the larger laser is on the way, so we'll get to do all sorts of colors with acrylic. I got to finally perfect glass, and yeah, it's just
That's awesome. I
larger
mean, it
scale
really, really
projects.
is to me. So let's talk about the product offering and where you started. There's some displayed here for us to enjoy, but talk about where you started and like that progression and what are the things that you identified as the things that people really were interested in and how that shaped what you actually started creating.
It was trial and error, big time, because if you ask her how many different molds I have, she'll tell you the garage is full.
Yeah, we got to do some cleanup.
So I would just buy all these molds because I saw somebody on Facebook creating something. So let's take the frog, for instance. I saw frogs were in about 3 years ago on Facebook. Everybody was doing frogs, and they look absolutely amazing. So I bought a few frog molds. I was like, frogs resonate with Bermuda, you know. So I started doing frogs, and people were amazed by them. I was like,
Frogs.
and
They really love them.
I would put every medium that you could possibly think of in a frog. So it started with flowers. It started with marbles. It started sand, rocks, you name it. I was sticking in a frog, and then putting a color on top.
Right.
And they sold. I don't have them anymore. And for my love of the island and Bermuda, we started putting the Bermuda flag in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this frog is really, really taking off. So yeah, that was like the first major sale item.
Okay.
The funny thing is, just thinking about it, not to interrupt. So we do have the Christmas ornaments here. So maybe 2 years ago.
Last year.
It was last year. Oh, dang, time's flying. Last year we had actually started doing Christmas ornaments, but they were solid colors, you know, Christmas themed shapes and things. So we're like, okay, these were kind of taking off. And then I don't even know how we got to for this year, but this year we started doing
Bermuda
themed ornaments, and it's been a total hit. Harbor Nights, and even with magnets. Well, some of our magnets here as well, and it's just totally escalated. Even with the crown and anchor table, for example.
Yeah.
I think we had a query. Loki had a customer that might have asked. I think that's how that started. Because we have some of our products in there as well. And she was like, well, can you do a crown and anchor table? We're like, yeah, we'll try it. Shoot. So we tried one, and then it just, Cup Match came on, and it was a hit.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And
Thank
this
you.
is one of the smallest ones we've
Right.
done. We've done
Large ones.
Yeah.
Like, but this is really, really nice. And I think the thing that I find appealing about it is it's like a hint too, like you can use this as a serving table, but then it's obviously a crown and anchor table, and that subtle reference, and see how you have the red and then the blue for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really is beautifully done, and so I do think that people appreciate that, right? Especially when you think who's purchasing your goods, and you mentioned you're in Looky, which is like a market in Washington Mall that has multiple vendors and all of that. So like I'm always directing people who are visiting the island there because you find a variety of items and goods. So when you first thought about selling the items, where did you sell the frogs? Where was your primary distribution location? Was it online?
It was online.
Okay.
Started online. Yeah.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so is that primarily where you sell most of your goods, online?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's been, word of mouth or people reaching out or saying, hey, I saw this on somebody's desk or something. And then, we have the Loki Avenue as well as Dockyard and... Do I mention about our latest?
Sure,
okay. And we will now be in the airport. So we're mighty excited about that. So,
It is exciting. One of the things that I remember the old airport, one of the things that I really, really enjoyed was going in the airport and seeing all of the different local vendors, because I think that's a great way, like, for people to take a piece of Bermuda with them as they go. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Because I do think that there is room for variety in our current airport in terms of what the offerings are. And so I'm glad to hear you guys say that.
Thank you.
Look at you.
I'm trying.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
As JB's Coastal Creations, it was January, February.
Okay, of this year.
Yes.
What was it before that?
We was like a branch umbrella of Rich Designs.
Rich Designs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so officially JB's,
Yes.
and I'm going to go ahead and make a leap and say J is for Jerry-Dee.
Yes.
And B is for Brittany. Stretch. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, but that's awesome.
Yes, thank
so, yeah, bringing it back on home, these are your unique individual creations that
Correct.
both of you take part in. So when you're coming up with a design or picking what your next thing is going to be, what is that creative process like?
Oh my.
It's a bit of back and forth.
So let's take our ornament line for instance. A lot of the molds we make ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this is a cricketer that we designed this year,
this is so cool.
and we designed that ourselves. And the design process is we make our own molds using silicone. So Brittany would cut it out in wood, or even acrylic. We're going to start with,
So
and
we got that
then
shine.
I pour this silicone around it, and then once it cures, then we have our mold. Then we can start with making the actual item.
Okay. All right. I can see this as a pen.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, see how that
Oh my gosh! And I have all the
girl.
have all the attachments.
Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yep.
There you go.
Representing right.
That'll be coming on next season.
I love it. And then the materials that you use, obviously, is full of pink sand.
Right.
And so I'm assuming you're making these conscious decisions to utilize references of Bermuda and Bermuda products.
Yeah.
Yes.
We definitely pride ourselves on incorporating Bermuda.
Yeah.
Like you had mentioned, we actually kind of go by the tagline of, taking a piece of the rock home. So that way people have, memorable experiences. We've actually experienced a few stories where even with Harbor Nights, it was this young boy, maybe about like 7, 8. He was so excited. He saw a stingray magnet that we had on display. And he was like, oh my gosh, I have to get this. And his whole family was with him. And they was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. He had just caught a stingray like that day.
Really?
At 4 o'clock in the morning, his parents, he went out on the boat with his uncles. Here on vacation. And then he thought he had a big fish. And they pulled and they pulled and they pulled hours. And this young man had a stingray on the end of it. So he was
wow.
elated. So they brought us out clean that night.
Really?
All our
Yep.
stingray magnets to give to this person, that person, that person.
Oh,
So
that
it
is
was-
so cool
it was
because
awesome.
now that's like a core memory that he'll always
Yep.
have a point of reference for.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a great story, and it shows how, even though you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just a magnet or it's just this, but how impactful it can be
Exactly.
for others,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And you made that. You're like, we made that.
Yeah, we made that.
We've also had people come and visit us during Harbor Nights, and actually when we went to the summit in 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, we actually had to take another order to a customer from last summer while we were in New York.
Oh, that is
during the
awesome.
summer. So that, yeah.
Now, since you brought it up, since we brought it up, let's talk about that. So,
Sure, yeah.
we have partnered with Driven Society for a few years, and they had an Events and Culture Summit in New York. And so, one of the things that BDC tries to do is to create opportunities for local entrepreneurs such as yourself to have an international experience, to network with people outside of Bermuda. It could lead into partnerships, collaborations. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
And so for this particular summit, it was sort of like last minute. They were like, we have this thing. You guys want to come? And we were like, can we take entrepreneurs with us? And so short notice, sent out the call, did a mini application process, and you guys are one of the successful chosen to attend the summit. So in that you went, what was that experience like? Have you sold outside of Bermuda before? Have you been to other vendor markets in other jurisdictions? And why do you think it's important to have that kind of international experience or exposure?
Well, first and foremost, let us say hats off to you guys.
Yes, and we're most
we are
thankful.
forever grateful for that opportunity. We don't take it lightly. and we went there with no expectations and just to take it all in. But yeah, with regards to our international customers, every tourist that buys from us is an international customer. We don't know where that's going to end up. And we have our Instagram QR whatever it's
QR codes.
code or whatever right there. My guru right there. So they can also reach out once they get back home and say, okay, we like this, or can you do this, or whatever the case may be. So that's with regards to international. But with regards to the summit, it was just nice to be there amongst like-minded cultural people. And yeah, it was eye-opening to see how they hustle.
They do. And the events that they have, and just how, you know, everybody, they try to connect everybody, have that collaboration, that partnership. It was just totally awesome. It was like, oh my gosh, Bermuda can do that. Bermuda can be in these spaces. Bermuda can get those connections. So I want to also say shout out to Kelsey, because she represented BEDC and Bermuda Valley.
She did. Yes, she did.
Well done, Kelsey.
So it was great. It was great to even see, you know, like you're seeing another Bermudian up there on that stage, a part of that panel. Like, oh my gosh, like that's inspirational. And then us being vendors, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what it's like to be in like international spaces. Okay, like, you know, we could get used to this. But yeah, it definitely is insightful. Definitely, if you guys have another one, we will apply. But it definitely just shows us like, wow, it's definitely more to than just Bermuda. We love Bermuda. We love our people, but getting Bermuda on the map in other spaces.
Definitely. And for me, it's like knowing that you can be in those spaces.
Exactly. And that's what it felt like.
Be in those spaces. Yeah. And like you said, you have international customers already. And so if there's a way where, who knows, you could be setting up a whole store or something like that in the States, or because you're online, people can order your stuff. And like you said, you never know where it ends up. So for us, I think it was achieved. The goal was achieved. You got
hats off to BEDC.
That experience, and also just to see the tenacity sometimes that others have to keep you pushing forward, keep you driving forward. I want to talk a little bit about like competition, and you mentioned even before you started selling that there were other people doing it, right? There were other artists. And a lot of the conversation sometimes we have with entrepreneurs is around their idea. And especially since Bermuda's small, they're like, well, if someone else is doing it, then there's no room for me.
And it is. It definitely is.
It's room. So much room.
There's room. There are other resin artists on island. But the way we like presenting our stuff can be totally different from you. And then you might find another niche within the resin industry to do. So we like doing pink sand, and we do a lot of chopping boards or cutting boards and things like that. Somebody else might find something totally different, like that. I'm looking at that potted plant.
Yes.
I have
the artist.
I have molds that are for plant pots.
Right.
I want to do plant pots. I said, don't take away my molds for plant pots. So the sky is the limit for that.
It's just a matter of just starting. Like what, you know, the person that told you.
And we get our ideas, believe it or not, when we're in the tub. For, when
water. That's
the
cancer sign. That's the cancer sign.
That's when
a lot of ideas hit.
We go back to the garage and we're like, oh, when I was getting my shower, I thought of this. And she says the same thing. And I'm like, okay, then this is what it is. And, you know, we're faith-based people as well. And if God has it in our direction, that's the way we're going.
That's where And I love the iteration, right? Like, it seems like you can create something and almost get immediate feedback from your customer as to whether or not it's something that people want or are interested in, you know? And that can help you to decide, well, what are we going to make.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So outside of the inspiration, the water inspiration, you do have that like kind of direct contact when you do the vendor markets and things of that nature. So in terms of your distribution, you have your online, you do Harbor Nights, because that's where we met.
Yes.
I remember like last year, I was like, hey, did y'all get that email that I
Anything is up, man. You had such a name. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that email from them. I'm like, no, Brittany, don't get too excited yet. Let's wait and see.
Listen, but that is an example, and that was for the Butterfield Championship Pro-Am, right? We did a vendor showcase last year, and then we did it a little different at Looky this year. But for us, when we are presented with opportunities to give vendors or entrepreneurs a chance to put your product in front of an international audience, like we take it. I'm sure the Butterfield Championship team is tired of me because I'm like, how many else can we get? What other opportunities do we? But that is the point, right? That's the point. I mean, yes, locals can enjoy it, but we know that there's only so many local people in Bermuda. Now, I love frogs, but now how many frogs? Can I possibly? My husband will be like, okay, Jamillah, we need to talk about this, unpack this. What is happening? So if you can create a more diverse market, right? Fine. You know, the tourists come, they go, they love it there, like they order again, or you can sell outside of Bermuda. And so for me, that was the primary objective behind that. Let's get it in front of these international golf players so that they have a piece of Bermuda to take home. And then somebody's like, well, I want one. Whatever. And now this translates into sales for you. So talking about that, what do you envision for JB's Coastal Creation? Like, what do you want it to be?
I think we have this conversation maybe once a week.
You do? That's good, though.
Trying to plan out like a 3-year plan and things. You want to kick it off or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. We see ourselves in a much larger workshop than the garage. We do love our garage, but you know, with the international orders and, you know, larger things, and even we've kind of dabbled into the corporate realm. So that's, you know, corporate is bulk orders and things. So see ourselves with a larger workshop. Definitely still doing what we're doing in regards to Bermuda themed and our sand and different colors. But just large scale.
Bigger and larger scale.
That's like the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, staff for sure. Yes.
Yeah, and we love to hear it, right? Because we're talking about job creation and all of that.
Exactly.
And what you're doing is, I think, it's like apprentice worthy. You can have people work with you to learn the trade or whatever the case may be, which is great. And I'm sure there's other government departments like workforce development that could assist in that regard, because I know they have apprenticeship programs where they pay for you to train up somebody else. So as long as it falls within their scheme or whatever the case may be. So put that in your ear. So as you look to
take some note, mental note.
As you look to expand, that's part of it, right? Is hiring people. Now talking about people. So it seems like you guys have a great relationship, that you complement each other nicely. So I'd like to know, what's it like, right? Working so closely like this, and coming up with these ideas. How do you resolve, like, you're like, oh, you know what we should do? We should do a bullfrog. And she's like, no. How do you manage those decisions? Or is it like, well, we'll try it and see?
That's how we do it.
Okay.
I would say it depends on what the item might be.
Okay.
Depend on what it is. But for the most part, it definitely is like that. It's like, okay, got this idea, and we kind of toy with it to be like, okay, benefits, pros and cons. And then we're like, you know what? Let's just try it.
Yeah.
Do a sample size, see how it goes. If it's a hit, then okay, we know we definitely have to do more.
Right.
If not, then okay, we just cease and desist with that one.
Right.
But yeah, we, you know, as mother-daughter duos.
Yeah.
You know, it's butt heads every now and again, but I do like the fact that, you know, if we do butt heads, we talk it out. We're like, okay, give each other space for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Look at each other, be like, okay, I think, are we both calm down? Let's revisit this. And then we talk it out, hash it out, and we're back like never before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to see it, because I'm just thinking about my mom, if I could. I love you, Mom. But Maybe it has something to do with the fact that you share the same sign, so you know what you need to, you know, be able to move forward to the next step. I don't know, but it's working, right?
Yeah.
You're producing
Yes.
beautiful
Yes.
for items that people want to purchase and want to buy, and I think it's a reflection of how well you guys work together.
And then we pull on each other's strengths.
Yes,
So
for sure.
I know what Brittany's strengths are, and she knows what mine are. And I just let her run with her strengths because you know how the young people just run circles around me. Go ahead, go right ahead.
Literally, it'll be like, okay, I just sent an email off to so and so, or so and so wants to know if we can meet or whatever. She's like, okay, so what time then?
Yeah.
So she's just like, let me know, man. We're okay. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm, just jamming them.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense. So what I'm hearing you say, or what you're employing in this business relationship, is everybody staying in their lane.
Yes.
This is my lane, and I'm comfortable over here, and I'm gonna let you drive over here.
There you go.
And it's working, right?
Yes,
It's
yes,
working.
sure.
So tell me what you talked about the expansion. So let's talk now about how you would encourage others to maybe consider starting a business or something like that. What would you say to someone else to encourage them to start?
If you have an idea, don't sleep on it.
Okay.
Just go for it.
Just go for it. Don't take 6 months or longer like I did. But just know that when it's your time, it's your time. And who would have known me coming this full circle in my life and this happened? I mean, I would have never, ever, ever dreamt it. So, yeah, if you have that idea, go for it. You know, there are more ideas, unfortunately, in the grave, and we don't want that to happen.
We don't.
So let's try and bring whatever you have in your brain to fruition.
I love that.
I said just start. It's definitely important to have a village around you, a community around you. It's so many entrepreneurs out here in Bermuda. Connect with anybody. BDC is the perfect place to start as well. You know, you guys have your program. I know Ignite's got their program. It's a lot of opportunities out there just to start if they need direction. Or like I said, it's just start. If we never started, I don't even know where we would be. We wouldn't have these items. You know, we wouldn't be able to let our creative flow.
Yes,
There's room for everybody.
Always.
Well, listen, I really am glad to have had this conversation with you to find out a little bit more about how you make the magic happen, so that people know where to find the products. What is the best way to reach out to you if they're interested in placing bulk orders or custom made somethings?
So we have our Instagram page, JBCCBDA. Our email, info@jbscoastalcreations.com. I'm sure the lovely ladies are lucky, always deal with inquiries. She can always say, I saw JB on, BDC's podcast. Can I place an order? And they're like, yeah, sure, I'll direct you. And, or just reaching out,
And are you still doing Harbor Nights?
Yes. It's 2 more left for the season. Ends on the 27th. So if anybody's around town and they wish to place an order on a Wednesday, we're there. Can't miss our giant show. Shout out to Brenda Bermuda. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, ladies, for
thank you for having us.
Minding a little business with us today. Because it's important. Remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.